Hi, this is Team Nightmares Jordz here, and just doing a quick video of my Genex deck. Mind, this deck is not for trade or sale, it's just showing you what it is. I've got 3 Genex controllers, obviously, because they're like the main frame of the Genex deck for the synchro. 3 Genex turbines. Give the Genexes quite strong attack points. So that packs in 3s. 3 Genex workers. They basically allow us to bring out the bigger Genexes like Genex Solar and Genex Army. So it really works well in 3s. Now 3 Genex Solars, quite debatable, but works well in my deck, especially when I've got 3 Genex workers. So they're in 3s. 2 Genex Neutrons. Supply the deck with Genex Controller and have pretty high attack points with 1-8 attack points, and it's a good card to have. 2 Genex Undinis or Undine, however you want to say it, and they bring out my Hydro Genex. I have 2 of all of the the synchro material monsters except Genex Gaia, and I'll tell you why when I get that. Genex Furnace to help get out one of my favourite Genexes, Thermal Genex, sorry. And he's pretty easy to summon. You can normal summon him without tributing when you got a Genex control on the field. Genex Blast Fan. Now I'm meant to have 2 of these. I'm not sure where the other one is. But just imagine there's 2 there. He gets out Windmill Genex, one of my other favourite cards. 1 Genex Gaia, because I don't really use Geogenex, because it's not that good of a synchro, so only use one of these. 1 Genex Army. I'm thinking about upping these to 2 with the release of Genex Worker. Basically, tribute summon it with a Genex that can blow up a card in the field. Pretty handy, but I don't really use it much. So 1 Genex Recycled. I can treat them as a Genex. It's handy if I don't have Genex Undini or Genex Turbine or Genex Furnace. No, not Genex Turbine, forget that. It helps us get out my synchros easier. Morphing Jar basically resets me hand if I'm doing terrible. Quite debatable, but I find it works well in this deck. Now into spells. 1 machine assembly line. There's meant to be more in here. As a case with Blast Fan, I just do not know where they are. Basically helps us get me machines back from the graveyard. Really helps the flow of the deck. Swords of Real Light. 1 kind of explains itself. Keep your monsters safe. Yada yada yada. 1 double summon. Now that's really handy for synchro summoning, getting me defense up, powering the opponent down. People use double summon for. Lightning Vortex, staple in any deck really. Monster Reincarnation lets us get me Genex controllers, me Genex synchro materials back from the graveyard, quite handy. Burden of the Mighty. Just to weaken my opponent's monster so my Genexes have a better chance of destroying them in battle. Mystical Space Typhoon explains itself. Now onto the traps. 1 Birthright. This is quite handy for getting Genex controller back for synchro summoning. 1 Dark Bribe explains itself. I really want 2, but 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. Used to have 2, but I traded 1 off. Explains itself again. Magic Cylinder. Inflicting blowback damage to the opponent. Quite annoying, quite funny if they hit you with a, say, Montage Dragon or something, although not many people use that now. Scrapline Scarecrow explains itself. Keeps me monsters safe for 1 battle. And it annoys the hell out of people. So that's why I like it. Now the synchros. 1 Genex. As I said, I don't really use that one much, but it can still be handy. Switch its attack and defense when you got a Genex on the field. 2 Windmill Genex. As I said, I did have 2 Blast Fans, don't know where the other one is. But this, it gains 300 attack for every face down spell trap on the field, and that can discard 1 card to destroy 1 face down spell trap in the field. So it's quite good if you're like afraid if your opponent's got Mirror Force or Magic Cylinder or Scrapline Scarecrow face down. You can destroy that, and it gains 300 for every face down card on the field, even your opponents. So it's quite handy. 1 Thermal Genex. I really want 2 of these, really badly. Gains 200 attack for each fire monster in the graveyard, and if it destroys a monster, it can inflict 200 points of damage to my opponent for each Genex monster in my graveyard, which normally will probably be a lot. Next, 1 Hydro Genex. Pretty useful. When it destroys a monster, I gain life points equal to the attack of it. It's pretty good if I'm running low on life points and manage to get them out. Stardust Dragon. Really nice. Might pack a Starlight Road in here if I'm running him. Well, you probably know what Stardust Dragon does by now. Negate a card, get it back at the end phase. Go-Yo Guardian. It's quite nice stealing your opponent's monsters, quite annoying for them. And so I can use them as synchro fodder to get Stardust and Catastor, which I'll show you next. Now, as I said, Catastor pretty much destroys everything that isn't light. That isn't dark. Pretty useful if I'm dueling, say, Light Swans or XX Sabers. So that's my deck. Have thumbs up for what hopefully is a good deck. Comment and subscribe, and that's me out.